Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my Monday messages. I think I'm live. Yes, I am live. Welcome, and welcome if you're watching the replay as well. I'm Rebecca, for those of you who perhaps haven't popped in before, and I'm a holistic health coach and homeopath. And part of my passion is to share as much as I can how you can use things like natural remedies, natural medicines, and simple techniques and methods to help support you in being able to lead your life as fully as you'd like to and feeling as healthy as you can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So today, really, I wanted to focus more on your physical health. And I know that a lot of you are already doing fantastic things to maintain your physical health and to keep fit. And I know that lots and lots of my clients are being absolutely brilliant at walking, 5K a day and growing their own vegetables and getting out in the fresh air and all of those things. And some of you are just amazing cooks and really into incredible recipes and cooking and food, and that is fantastic. So this week, I really wanted to invite you to just maybe go a little bit deeper. And the reason I wanted to do that is because for me, when I'm thinking about my physical health, very simply, when I'm thinking about health and dis-ease, it really comes down to one of two things. Either we are deficient in something, we haven't got enough of something in order for our bodies to work properly and do what it's supposed to be doing, or we're toxic, we're overloaded with something, we've got too much of something, and that's what's taking all our energy in order to process that or to manage it and to keep it from doing any harm. Sounds odd, but if you think about it, I'll give you the example of food poisoning, let's say. So if we take in a poison, some bit of off food of some description, and our bodies, basically our digestive system from our mouth to our anus is a tube, and it's there really to help us to process what we take in and to work out, first of all, is it going to help me or is it going to be potentially quite dangerous? So if something is poisonous and we ingest it, then pretty quickly that's going to trigger all our defense mechanisms to, alarm bells will go off. It's like every fire alarm going off in your body going, oh my God, this is potentially dangerous. We need to get it out of our systems. And usually that will produce symptoms such as, vomiting, very loose stools, perhaps a fever, sweating, all of those things. And they are all first-line defences that help us to actually eject that poison as fast as possible. And yeah, it can be really uncomfortable, but it's usually short-lived and it does the job if we allow it to. So obviously, what we want to do when we think about it logically is we want to encourage that process, I would have thought, because we obviously want that poison to be out of our systems. Over-the-counter medications like antiemetics, which are drugs that stop you from vomiting, or all sorts of drugs that stop you from having loose stools, stop you from having diarrhea, they are really working against your natural defense mechanism. So they might stop the symptoms and you might feel better. But what's happened to that poison? It's still in your system. So then it becomes, and it might be okay. You might actually be strong enough to process that later on. Who knows? But if you've already got a little bit of a build-up of toxicity in your system, and maybe your bowels aren't very good, they're not working very well, then all your system can do is try and contain that toxin so it doesn't do any further damage. Just kind of put it on hold, if you like. And when it does that, it's taking some of your energy. And that energy could be being used for healing or for repairing, restoring, making sure that everything's running, as smoothly as it should. So you can see that if you have a kind of build-up of that kind of toxin, or if the toxin is strong enough to be taking quite a lot of your energy, then, you'll have one of two things. You'll have, the body will keep trying to get rid of it, so you'll have all sorts of odd symptoms, and often, if your digestion isn't working correctly, you can have skin symptoms and things, and sometimes other symptoms, depending on where your weak areas might be. It's a big subject, so I'm not going to go into that in great detail. But I just wanted you to focus this week on how you can minimise the toxic levels that are going into your body. And I know that many of you are doing a very good job on that already. I do think, though, we can always do more. And part of that is thinking about when we are taking over-the-counter medications. I'm not saying don't ever take them. They have a place, they can be very useful from time to time. But sometimes we get into a sort of automatic response in the same way that we do with emotional responses and emotional reactions. We'll just automatically go, oh, my child has a fever. Oh, I need to give them Calpol or Nurofen or something like that. Whereas if we just stop and think, okay, well, I can do that. That is a choice. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But there is, or there may be, a price tag attached to that. Some of you might not know that there was a massively subscribed to research study that was done in 2008, and it was published in The Lancet. It was done by scientists and by doctors, and it was studying the effects of paracetamol-based medicines when they're given to very young children. I think they did it once a month. So on a regular basis, once a month. What it did was it actually, I think, either trebled or quadrupled that child's likelihood of exhibiting respiratory illnesses later on. So by the time they were 6, basically. Interesting, isn't it? Because I don't know whether you know, but respiratory illnesses are on the rise. And obviously at the moment, they're very foremost in a lot of people's minds. So what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to scaremonger. I'm just saying if we can reduce our usage of drugs like that always have a price tag attached. There are always side effects to them. It doesn't matter how they're taken, whether they're ingested, whether they're injected, or even put on the skin. Yes, they can have benefits short term, but they also have side effects. They have levels of toxicity that may not be apparent when you first use them, may not be apparent on a few uses, but over time will build up because your body has to process them. And obviously when they're being prescribed or when you're making the decision to use those medications, a good way of doing that is to always read the inserts that come with these meds, and they have to by law. They have to actually have an insert, or on the pack somewhere there has to be a list of the possible side effects, and they are always attached to any drug. Doesn't matter what it is, and I don't care what anyone tells you. There is always the potential of side effects, and that those side effects are really just an example of your body feeling poisoned. There's been too much of it and it can't handle it. So, not going any deeper into that, what I'm trying to do is to encourage as many people as possible to think about using over-the-counter medications for minor illnesses and see, can they reduce them? Is there an alternative? Is there something else that you could use instead of that paracetamol-based medication? And the answer is yes, homeopathy. And of course I would say that because I'm a homeopath, but I started my journey with homeopathy by doing that exact same thing. I wasn't comfortable with the side effects, the long-term effects of a lot of the medications that I were on offer for myself and for my children. And I started using a little first aid kit like this one. I know it's probably back to front, but it's a Helios remedy kit, has 36 remedies in it. And I started learning by using the kit, and I did a little short course with my homeopath to learn how to use it. And you can too. And so my invitation this week is twofold, really. One is to really think about how many times you reach for a bottle of Calpol or Nurofen or, whatever it is, either for yourself or for your children, and just read those inserts and really think about, okay, how many times have I used that this month or this week or, this year even? Could I use something else? Wouldn't it be nice to have something else as a choice? And also, if that is something that interests you, then think about homeopathy as that choice, one of those choices, certainly. I'll never forget when I used it for the first time on my daughter. She was about 3 at the time, and she had a really bad earache, and she was screaming the place down, basically, in pain. And the pleasure I got and the relief that she got from using a remedy and having that pain just go within the space of about an hour. It just went. And over time, when I was using remedies, she didn't do those earaches anymore, and there were all sorts of other improvements. And to cut a very long story short, it's what led to me studying homeopathy. It's what led to me committing to homeopathy as our first choice of medicine as a family. And as a family, we are not ill very often. I know I was pretty ill recently, but it really took me by surprise because that's the first time in decades that I've been ill. And if we do get coughs or colds, which we don't really very much, we get over them very quickly and we get over them fully. We don't go to the GP, except, I can't remember the last time I went to the GP, and I can't remember the last time my daughter or my son went to the GP. My daughter is now 25. She has her own remedy kit, so she's working away with that to boost her own health. And it always surprises me that lots of people don't realise that you can do that yourself. You don't have to come to a practitioner for every single minor illness. You can have a kit yourself at home and you can learn how to use it pretty quickly. So that leads me on to my online course. You can learn with me at your own pace. I have a series of videos that comprise the course. And you have lots of worksheets and sheets that you can print out and keep with your remedy kit, guides to how to use it. And you get membership to an online support group where you have access to me and you have the support of lots of other users of homeopathy. And you won't look back, I promise you. It's a bit of gateway drug, as to coin the phrase of a client of mine, that once those doors are opened and you understand how amazing it is and how comprehensive it is, and you see the results that you can have, it's so empowering as a parent, and it's so empowering even just prescribing for yourself, actually, if you don't need to be rushing off to the pharmacist or rushing off to the GP. So I have that course. If you're interested and you want more details, do click on the link in the post with this video. And at the moment, for the next week only, there's a special offer attached to joining that course. So if you have any questions, first of all, I'd read the information with the link. If you still have questions, that's absolutely fine. You can contact me, post a question in the comment box below, or private message me, or email me, all absolutely fine. But I would encourage you to, even if you're not interested in the course, and that's cool too, do start looking at your usage of medicines, over-the-counter drugs in particular, and just see what could you do to reduce that usage, and therefore allow your body to work in a way that is actually hot-wired to work towards health. If it's allowed to do what it can do properly and fully, it will do whatever it needs to do to get you as healthy as possible. Lovely. Thanks for the thumbs up. Good morning, Breed, and you're very welcome. Thanks for watching. Don't know if you've just popped on or whether you want to watch the replay from the beginning, but I know you know about homeopathy anyway. So that's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions, then do let me know. I'll just wait a couple of minutes. I absolutely love it. The first aid course and the box, actually, it's got 36 remedies. Those 36 remedies, and every homeopathic remedy, really have multiple uses, because you're always looking to help support the whole person, not just one little bit. And you can start doing that yourselves, which is really empowering once you've got that, you've got that mastered. And it takes practice, like anything, but you can get results almost immediately. If you've already got a remedy kit, or perhaps you've been dabbling with using homeopathy, and you're maybe wanting to ramp up that bit and just get more to grips with it and get better results, then the course is also suitable for you. I do have quite a few people who have been using homeopathy, and they've kind of stopped using it because they weren't happy with the results. Could be one of three reasons. It's very seldom about the choice of remedy, actually. People are usually really good at selecting good remedies. What it could be down to is not repeating the remedy enough, because when you're dealing with minor illnesses, you're dealing with a high energy state, and the body often uses remedies quite quickly. So just giving 1 or 2 doses isn't usually enough. So that's one thing. The other thing is the choice of potency. Sometimes the 30 strength or potency of a remedy, which is what's available in the kit, needs to be repeated more often. Or if it seems to be improving things, but it's not really lasting, then you might need a stronger strength. And that's something you get either from me or from a homeopathic pharmacy, depending on where you live. You can easily order it. So that's part of what I do on the course, is just let you know how to determine whether that's the issue or not, how to prescribe properly and effectively. It's not just about selecting the right remedy. And also how to understand what's going on. Because often, if you go back to that case of food poisoning, we might think, oh my gosh, somebody's thrown up, or somebody's had very loose stools after I've given a remedy. Oh, that means that it's worse. Well, it doesn't. It means if you think about the defense mechanisms and the goal of your body is wanting to get that poison out of your body, it's actually a good thing. It means that your body is doing what it's meant to do. So sometimes it's just changing your perspective on what is an aggravation, what might be worse, or what is actually a good symptom, a good result. And the way you can often tell that is by how your patient, how your child, if you're prescribing for your child, or how you feel. And often once you've thrown up, or once you've had some kind of evacuation, if you like, it often brings a sense of relief because you are minimising that toxicity. So I hope that helps, and I hope your interest is piqued. As I say, do click on the link with the post in that goes with this video. And if you're not sure, ask me questions. And also there is a link if you follow the same link, you can actually get a little free video series that might help you to make up your mind. So that's it for the week. Think about the toxicity levels of using over-the-counter medications. Think about the price tag attached. Have a look, start reading labels, and maybe think about, well, what could I do instead? Have a lovely week. Do enjoy the weather. It's absolutely glorious here. Spring is definitely here. So wishing you a lovely week and a toxic-free week. Thanks for watching. Bye, Breed.